said to me, it seems like you like me too. We can take it slow, make sure we do this right. Canceled all my plans to be with you tonight. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be. You make me anxious. I think I might be stuck on you. I love the things you did for me. It seems like you're dropping clues. There's no need to rush, so let's just take our time. Dropping everything, 'cause you're stuck on my mind. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. So just sit with me, talking through the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think you were meant to be with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be.
Hey everybody. All right. We got some hummingbirds here. We got some Starfield behind me. Today is a very special day because we are going to be investigating the world of Sid and Marty Krofft. Absolutely calming and invigorating and exciting. And I have with me to go on this journey, I have Elizabeth Croydon and Gini Sikes. Clowny Clown, Clown, Clown. That's a reference. I don't know if anybody knows that reference. It's a quiz. What is that a reference from? Clowny Clown, Clown, Clown. Thanks for that in the chat room. So, big week planned this week. I don't know how it's going to go. God knows how it's going to go. I am not a licensed therapist, but this is a pretty therapeutic show. That's what they tell me. And I think this week is going to be no exception, because I am going to be interviewing Marty Krofft of Sid and Marty Krofft on Friday. And I'm excited about it. I'm a little bit, it's a little trepidatious, because Marty is like an old school Hollywood producer, and he's produced so many things, and my music is so loud, and I obviously don't know how to produce that part of the show. But he's intimidating. He's an intimidating fellow. And so we're going to investigate the world of Sid and Marty Krofft today. And there are really three reasons why we're going to do that. One is it's super fun. And number two is a lot of people don't know. A lot of people didn't grow up with the Sid and Marty Krofft world. Maybe they've seen things that they didn't even know were related, but there's a lot of things related. And so we're going to investigate that today with Ginny and with Elizabeth. And then on Wednesday, it's all wolves. Yeah, we're going to do a whole show on wolves and the benefits of wolves and what's happening to wolves in the world today. And we've got some guests on that are wolf activists. And we're going to get some wolf facts because God knows we need wolf facts. And people are so afraid of wolves, and we're going to address that because they've got the same clown syndrome where there are people who are suddenly afraid of them. Kamala Lopez says when she was a little girl, she was in love with Jack Wilde. Yes, I think that might be a common occurrence. Why aren't you wearing a lunch therapy t-shirt? It's a good question because I'm wearing my Sasquatch shirt, and it actually doesn't work very well with the green screen. Or maybe it works great because the universe is within me. I've got a quote later on that will relate to that, I think. But we got to get into the show. So one other thing, on Wednesday, we are all going to learn about wolves, and as an extra added benefit, we are going to learn about animal massage. Who knew there was such a thing as animal massage? But there is. So here we go. Let's get into the show. Hey, Guy Fly. I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 All right, here we are with Gini Sikes and Elizabeth Croydon. You can guess which is which. Many of you know these two. They are comedians and activists and journalists and you name it. I have behind me a hummingbird. Welcome, Elizabeth. Welcome, Gini.
Thank you.
All right. Kamala said she wants to have an animal massage.
Oh, me too.
I don't think the animal massages you. We're going to find out. I think that you massage the animal. I think we're the workers here. They're the recipients. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe. All right. So that's a good question, though. We're going to find out more because there's an expert. And it actually has a name, this animal massage. Has anybody ever heard of it? Massaging animals? Yeah?
They do Reiki.
Yeah.
Reiki?
Yeah, they do Reiki. I have a friend who does Reiki on animals.
Wow.
You're not actually touching them, but you're doing just like you do it on humans.
Well, this has some kind of
they have muscles too.
They do. I know, but whenever I massage my cat, it doesn't feel like it's stressed. Like its muscles seem just sort of, loose. Like I'm the one who needs the massage all the time.
When I massage my cat, I would pay attention to the spine. And work the gentle spaces in between the spine. And you may find that is the sweet spot. I don't know. That was for my cat. I don't know.
Kamala says her cat massages her. I guess they do. They make muffins. They do that, but she doesn't love it. Yeah, because it's got claws. I don't like it either. It kind of hurts. This behind us is Ganell. Ganell took this hummingbird picture. If you look really closely, you can see it when it turns. Its neck is this beautiful pink color. But I'm probably in the way as usual.
It's ruby-throated.
It's ruby-throated? Ruby-throated sparrow. Isn't that the sparrow that's ruby-throated?
Yes. Well, that's the song.
That is the song. All right, let's take our breaths. Because I got to take some breaths because before the show, my camera died, my monitor died. I'm all jacked up from running around trying to get pieces of equipment together. All right, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Loretta asked me why I'm not wearing my lunch therapy t-shirt. I don't always wear my lunch therapy t-shirt because it's sort of redundant because I'm in the middle of the show. But this is a Sasquatch shirt because the Crofts had a show called Bigfoot and Wild Boy. I don't know if you ever heard of that one. Either one of you? Ever heard of that one?
No.
I never heard of it either. Some of these shows I have like a vague recollection of. Any recollection?
Yeah, something's coming back to me about the Bigfoot. Now I have to see his feet to know that I have the right. I had my Croft favorites. Bigfoot was not on it, but I love them all.
Oh, me too. I'm a huge fan.
My favorite
Lifetime
is
influence.
My favorite is Pink Lady and Jeff.
Oh, we got to talk about that because I have a vague memory of that too. Okay,
Oh,
in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. This is everybody in the audience should be doing this because this is the most important part of the show, I think, where we breathe.
I really like it.
I had this Rumi quote that I was going to read to you, but I lost it. It's a kind of a show.
What does that mean?
I know,
to
it's
be
sort
a
of
quote.
mystical, isn't it? You know what it said? It said, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are an ocean in an entire ocean in a drop. I screwed that up. But you know what I'm saying.
I like it.
You are not
like
a
it.
drop in the ocean. You are an entire ocean in a drop. I like that. Erica Switzer's here. Fantastic comedian. Hello, everyone.
Yes,
Breathing
she
with
is.
You. She
Yes,
really
she
is. Okay,
And
in
a
through
very
the nose.
nice person.
She is a very nice person and a smart, thoughtful person. There's an interview
Yes.
with her on our show.
I'll watch
check it out.
that.
All right. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Todd Lee has arrived.
Hi, Todd.
Dog lover extraordinaire. Jose is here. My toes are feeling airy. Yeah, we're feeling pretty good today. Loretta is here. Loretta is a huge supporter of the show. Jay Patterson, a budding comedian as well. And Lauren Ackerman. Hello.
He's a comic.
Yeah, he's a comic too. He's been on the show as well, which is great.
Yeah.
This is, it's a cult. It's a cult. Okay. It's a cult. Cult of the Hummingbird. Same to y'all. All right. It's good to see you. Todd's puppy is the cutest thing ever. Speaking of that, I have some footage of Ginny's puppy. Oh, she's going to bring it.
I have to see if,
it's
sleeping.
Oh, so I have a thing. And it's interesting because it does go along with the show.
It looks a lot like a Croft puppet.
It does, doesn't it? And its name is Puffin, right?
His name is, her name is Puffin, but
Her
it
name
might
is
be changed to Rabbit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her given name is Puffin, though.
It's
I
so
just got her.
hard to know when you get a dog, a rescue dog, or a dog that is, somebody else owned. Do you change the name? I don't know.
That's what we're learning.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna do it?
Well, she hops like a rabbit, which is really weird. And I just like the idea of going silly wabbit and going, where's the wabbit?
I would change it just
But
to Puffin Stuff. And then that would be like a little nickname, Puffin Stuff. Hey, Puffin Stuff. You could sing the song all the time. HR, Puffin Stuff.
Puffin Stuff.
That'd be cool. Let's see. They need to make posting pictures an option on this chatty thingy. Yeah, the one time on episode 99, somebody changed their avatar to a picture of their erect penis.
Wow.
And that was a way to get the picture on the show.
oh, you got hacked.
Yeah, we got not hacked, we got flashed. We basically got flashed. I don't
I'm
know if it
not
was
surprised.
theirs. Yeah?
Your show
It
gets
could-
a rise out of me.
Yeah,
so
I
it
was
makes
glad
sense.
that he was, stimulated by the show, right? It's a
You know,
compliment.
yes, and it could be worse. I've been on shows where there was bestiality and penises going into somebody's bed.
Oh, no.
Ah!
Oh, no. Kamala says, Ginny, that dog looks a bit like you already.
I know, Kamala, and it walks like me too.
Does Puffin wheeze and snort? Love dogs
Yes.
that look like that. They ran into it. Love dogs that look like they ran into a glass door full speed when they were puppies.
Todd, you know what? She looks like a baby seal that was clubbed in the face by a hunter and survived.
I've seen videos of people who foster animals massaging them to calm them. Wow. Speaking of calm, I'm going to take one more breath. In through the nose, out through the toes. And then we will get on with this. Nobody needs to see that. The people massaging the animals. All right. So moving on to, we're going to take a look at a few things. And we are going to talk about puppets. And let's get into this thing now. I just want to mention, if anybody knows what this is behind me, that's another quiz thing. So far we've got Clowny Clown, 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 and then this thing behind me. Maybe some of our
spaceship?
It looks like a spaceship. Do you have a guess?
Behind me is the makings of a spaceship.
Oh
I don't know. It looks like maybe, I'm going to guess the Converse Chucks. Looks like it belongs on a sneaker. It's a logo of
behind me. No, I'll get rid of that.
Yes.
I'm talking about way behind us. There's so many dimensions to this show. You know what I mean? Like this.
Wow. What is behind us?
It looks like a set.
It's a Croft. It's Marty Krofft artwork.
It is.
I'm betting.
And
okay.
we'll talk about this later on. But what you know?
It's the dudes in the cars. It's the dudes in the cars with the round hats. They have round hats, and they're like Keystone copy kind of puppets with people.
Those are the okay. It's close. I'll just give it away right now. Sid and Marty Krofft.
It was a dating game.
It looks like something from the dating game. Have you? I don't know if anybody has seen this, but and this is a tangent. But the dating game, when I watched it when I was a young man, I thought it was a real dating game, and they were actually going on dates, and it was about getting dates and bumper cars. Matt says, but you know what? Now I see.
They did go on dates.
Shriners.
Did they go on dates? But now I see
I know
though.
Somebody was on it.
Well, when you watch the show, like Steve Martin is on it, Andy Kaufman, like Farrah Fawcett, all these like.
Oh, that must have been later. Yeah.
Was that later, or were they just like up and coming comedians and they got themselves a job on a game show?
I don't know. All I was allowed to watch was the Croft Superstar Hour, Sesame Street, and Sesame Street.
Mr. Rogers.
And I thought. Yes, and I thought the Dukes of Hazzard was a show about English royalty. There was no dating game for me. Somehow I got the Love Boat in, though, on Saturdays.
Did you? Yeah, I watched the Love Boat.
Yeah, whatever. It was not as cool as the Croft Superstar Hour.
But, you know, all the people in the Croft shows ended up showing up on the Love Boat. They were
really?
Always, yeah. You'll see like a lot of them.
Wow.
That
makes sense because they're both delightful. Like, you know, the cheese in the Love Boat is on par with the Croft.
This is the universe, the Croft universe. I think it's sort of like the Marvel universe. People don't realize how vast it is.
Croft kaleidoscope.
And there's all this crossover.
Colorful range, yes.
Jay Patterson, I just kept this on the screen for Jenny. Did you know a serial killer was on the dating game?
Wow,
I did, and I wanna cover that for my podcast on serial killers.
Oh my God, that's great.
Whoa!
Did they have footage of that? The person on there? They must. Kamala says, "I can tell you how to get to Sesame Street, Elizabeth."
Yes, she can.
Yay, I'm glad. I'm very excited because
Kamala was
I've been
on
looking
Sesame
for you
Street.
my whole life.
Yeah, I know. She was on Sesame Street.
On Sesame Street?
She was Maria's cousin.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's
and Elizabeth,
nifty.
Kamala and I have this connection because I was a puppeteer and I used to go to the Puppeteers of America convention and met Big Bird, the person, Carol Spinney, and Jim Henson. Jim Henson's kids used to sit in the crowd with me.
We try to get that into every episode. Every episode, I try and mention that.
It was Sigmund and the Sea Monster that got me into puppetry, and then when Jim Henson sprung, I had the lunchbox. I did the voices.
Really?
I thank God for Marty Krofft and Croft and his craft and Jim Henson. I mean, just fantastic people with extraordinary imaginations.
Okay, now, Ginny, you were a puppeteer as well, right?
Yes, I was. I was a puppeteer from 8 till about 18.
Were you? Were you like Elizabeth, inspired by the Muppets and the Croft people as well?
Yes, but my favorite movie is Pinocchio, Walt Disney's Pinocchio, because I thought he was mischievous. And he had blue eyes and black hair. I mean, I really had a crush on him. And,
I do an impression of Pinocchio. Do you want me to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
I got no strings to hold me down, to make me frown, to make me down. How's that?
You don't know the
Pretty good.
words though.
I know. It's an impression. It's not.
Oh my God!
It's not an exact science.
I loved it.
I must say, I do not know the words to most songs. Just the start. Even Marshall, Will, and Holly, you know, from Land of the Lost.
Oh,
Marshall, Will,
in
and
the
Holly on a
land
routine
of the lost.
expedition, greatest earthquake ever known. And then after that, it's like, I have no idea. And it's not even that long. The song's not even that long. Todd Lee, I watched Sesame Street all the time as a child. Probably had a thing for Kamala. That's the thing. Any of the women on these shows.
Who didn't have a thing for Kamala?
Right. I had a thing for Kamala. Still do.
Jack Wilde had a thing for Kamala.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She had a thing for him. That's for sure. I got to tell, we got a lot to talk about here. Matt Wright worked on a Planters commercial that featured an animatronic beaver. Wow. All right.
Very good.
So we're going to stick to the schedule here. We're going to first of all ask Elizabeth Croydon why there's a puppet behind her. There's a puppet behind you.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Kristen Vigard Studio El Camino del Molinos level 3.0. This is what you see behind me is the bare bones of our established spaceship set, and the puppet behind me is Spray Mondo. He's made by the artist Omar Wilkins. He's made entirely out of spray paint cans and art devices that he employs. And he will be playing Space Mondo in Dimebag Western. There's a great deal of... Go on.
Oh, I'm just interjecting here. Go ahead. There's a great what?
There's a great deal of Sid and Marty Krofft inspiration going into this movie.
Don't you think that they kind of paved the way for puppets in television and in films? I mean, they were one of the people that really paved the way for it to be okay. There's the animatronic beaver. So yeah, they're hilariously cynical. I drove the puppeteers to the airport after, and they were hilariously cynical. They probably are. I see Sven Dukakis here. Good to see you all the way from Belgium. It's great when Sven is here. So I just wanted to say that there have been puppets in movies, and there still are today. And I think that one of the things that the Crofts and the Muppeteers and perhaps Hanna-Barbera, they enabled us to have these puppets and not worry about it. You know, like in Star Wars, they got full-on puppets, and you know they're puppets, and we're totally fine with that because we're kind of used to it, right? Even as the technology gets even better and better, we still have puppets. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, maybe we put it all back to Punch and Judy. Maybe it goes further, but Punch and Judy was definitely an archetype that lasted through the ages.
It was an archetype of domestic abuse.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yes, it was.
I'm much more in the Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
Oh, me too.
In the infanticide.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I want to show you the origins of Sid and Marty Krofft in case nobody knows. This is a thing, and this is a website that is called Belated Nerd. And they have put a whole page together, and go check it out on belatednerd.com, of the first Sid and Marty Krofft puppet show, which was actually an adult puppet show. They had can dancers. They had a section that was a horror movie where they had Frankenstein, and they had. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and they're doing it with marionettes. All those look like they're marionettes, which
and this was back in the 60s. This is back in the 60s, and for some reason...
Oh, those skeletons that go take their head off? I had one of those.
You did?
I had a skeleton that you could take your... Yes, exactly like those. They must have been based on them. There was an English puppetry company called Pelham Puppets, and they made that exact marionette.
Wow.
Yes, and all the body could fall apart. Everything could fly apart.
And this played in the... and then they had ladies, topless ladies, if you can believe it. Can dancers. Billy Graham went to see this show when it was in Los Angeles, and he left and said, to the press, that was a terrible show. Well, I don't know if he said it was a terrible show, but he said the women wore no bras. And that, of course, increased the attendance to the show.
Which makes it sound like they
naturally
have T-shirts on. Like it sounds like they have like,
Well, he didn't even say they were puppets. He just said the women wear no bras.
Oh, that's great.
I know.
He did increase sales.
He did. So, So anyway, that, nobody, I don't know. I'm certainly going to ask.
God,
wow.
That's
I know. Pretty cheeky.
Isn't
oh, wow.
Like, this is amazing.
Antoinette and Lamas.
I'm wondering if the Feebles was inspired by this particular piece of work prior to it being made.
What was inspired by it?
The Feebles.
Oh, I don't know the Feebles.
Please help me remember the director. He did Peter Jackson. It was Peter Jackson's first movie.
Really?
And it involved puppets and people together, and they mixed kabuki with puppetry, and the Feebles took on cathartically people's addictions and dysfunctions. I would say but also it's a hilarious movie. I mean,
that is cool. Yeah, sometimes in therapy people use puppets.
Yeah,
right?
It was. Yes, absolutely.
Maybe we need more puppets on this show. I think we need more. I tried to have a puppet once. I'll have to bring him back sometime.
You know what the key to a puppet is the voice.
Well, that's something that I want to talk about too. I mean, this is obviously we only have so much time, but I definitely want to talk about the fact that in the Sid and Marty Krofft shows, a lot of times the person in the suit was not the voice.
Right.
They had different. It seems like it would make it harder. Wouldn't it make it harder to shoot that?
Actually, on Puff and stuff, they only had like 3 voiceover actors, so you couldn't tell. Like, I mean, the same guy was doing the same voice for several of the characters.
Yeah.
So you couldn't distinguish them. So
remember
greatly.
Mr. Rogers, how he had that whole neighborhood, and he had all
the very bad voices.
And he was the owl. I mean, the owl just sounded exactly like him. Yeah. So when he talked to the owl, yeah.
As I make this movie and I have several actors speaking with masks on, as a producer, it's very comforting to me that I can just rip out the audio and put in another voice. So
I guess it's true.
I can see where it is easier in a way if it's all in where you align your mind, I suppose.
It's true. I'm going to get back in here where we talk about this for a little bit. The thing about that I didn't realize is, okay, we're going to move on now to HR Puff and stuff. Okay, I don't know if people know, because I kind of got stuck, and maybe in the show we'll just get stuck on that. Let's see, Joel is going to single-handedly rehabilitate the image of clown puppets. Exactly. I'm really on a mission here. I'm on a mission to bring puppets back, clowns, sharks, wolves, all of them. Bring them back into the love. Spread the love for these animals and characters that have been vilified. So HR Pump stuff. First of all, does anybody know what HR stands for?
Her Royal.
Her Royal?
Her Royal Majesty. That's it.
But isn't it a guy? I mean, is it a...
Or His Royal Majesty. Or His Royal...
I think you might be right. I mean, I have this little animated GIF of Puff and stuff here for people that don't know what he looks like.
Human resources?
That's what I thought too. Human resources.
It's his royalty.
Yeah.
I looked it up. But it's interesting, until today, I never knew what he was. I thought he was a worm or a caterpillar. And I just looked up, and he had the Croft started him in the World's Fair in Texas. And they had like this land of puppets or something, and it was so successful. That's what led to the TV show. But he was a dragon, which I didn't know.
He's a dragon.
I hated that.
Don't you think about
I thought he was a worm.
Which came first, Puff the Magic Dragon or Puff and Stuff?
No, Puff came first, and that's why there was controversy about his name.
There was. You mean that everybody thought it was like a
drug?
Drug thing.
Andy
Southern is here. Hey, Andy Southern.
Hey, Andy. I know that the argument is that firmly it is rooted in innocence, but when you when you name something Puffin Stuff and you have another show named Lidsville and you think Richard Pryor is children appropriate, which I fully endorse.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm just saying, maybe there's a little bit of subversive messaging. I don't know.
You wonder. You got to wonder.
We'll
ask Marty.
They were on acid.
That's what everybody thinks, but I mean, he swears that they weren't. But we're gonna drill.
At least one of them wasn't.
Find out. Yeah, at least one of them wasn't. Well, also it shows that they don't seem to be afraid to be influenced heavily by things like Puff the Magic Dragon, and drugs. Maybe, I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like if something is like something else, they just seem to just go with it.
Drugs, due to abuse, get a bad name, and I, for one, am not ashamed of the influence they had on my life. I am richer, better for it. I listen to better art. I watch better TV shows. I think better. And
the problem is for some people, they lose control.
I mean,
most of us
gets into the whole.
Yeah,
these guys had a pretty good work ethic. I mean,
that's the thing is that's what Marty says, and when I interview him, we'll ask him this question. But one of the things he says is that how could they possibly put out all these shows if they were on acid? That's the thing. It's like that might be really difficult. What do you think?
There are alpha stoners that get things done. There are people that drop acid and microdose in Silicon City that get things done. Yeah. So I'm really tired of people dismissing those that indulge in hallucinogenics or cannabis, sativa, etc. Excuse me for getting very.
No, I hear you. That's one of your causes, right? I mean, you're an activist.
I get stuff done.
Yeah.
I make movies. I write stuff. I function in society better than a lot of people. So I don't see the problem, and it's a real shame that there's still a stigma on it, because people that will lose control anyway. I mean, there are people that are not on drugs that are losing control. January 6th,
I lose control regularly.
I always am out of control.
I feel like maybe we lost control of the focus of the show.
No, we're in control of this. This is part of it. I do want to jump to Zakk Wylde. I want to jump to the Zakk Wylde situation because I've got a story about. Okay, Zakk Wylde was the kid.
Jack.
Oh, Jack. Zakk Wylde is the guitarist, but let's not go there. Zakk Wylde is the kid in HR Puff and Stuff. And I'm just going to go over here and just a sec here, just call up a little bit of the HR Puff and Stuff. I can't really play the video I can't play the music or anything, but just to get an idea for people that don't know about this, we're going to go back over
if you
here.
try to guess his age, it's pretty remarkable how much older he was.
Right. So here's the show. I mean, this is just on YouTube. This is Witchy Poo, who was incredible. And the thing is, she was scary. She was really scary.
She was really scary.
One of the things about these shows is that, and Marty said this in an interview, is that he was trying to scare the crap out of kids.
Yes, and they said that the network made them not. Apparently, Witchy Poo would hit the bat and other people, and they made her stop because they thought it was too violent.
Really?
I was scared of the talking mushrooms, and when they stole the flute, Jimmy's flute, I was very upset. And then the flute was in a cage. It was mortifying to me.
It was,
but tough. I liked the talking castle. I was nervous, but I was into it.
So Zakk is, Jack. Zakk Wylde is the kid in the show, and this is my anecdote about this, is that he was playing soccer in England with his friend, and this other kid they were playing with, who happens to be named Phil Collins, and it was Phil Collins of Genesis, etc. And why did he want to scare kids? It's a good question. Said, hey, my mom will give us a ride home. So on the way home, the mom was like, you kids should join this agency and, be in the movies and stuff. And they were like, this lady's crazy. But they ended up joining this agency, and that's how he got his first job, which was
Oliver.
Oliver.
Is it Oliver on stage?
Well, I think he was in the movie Oliver, and which won like 6 Academy Awards.
He got a Golden Globe for that, I think.
He got a Golden Globe for that?
Yeah, and he was nominated. Yeah, and he was nominated for the Oscar. But the sad thing about him is he died kind of tragically.
Well, what happened? Well, tell me about it. Tell me what happened. Do you know?
Well, he was a very talented child star, and the kid who played Oliver, Mark Lester, they remained friends, and he said that Jack really helped him out. People liked him, but he became an alcoholic, and he smoked really heavily, and before he was 53, he had to have his throat box removed and couldn't talk until he couldn't talk for years before he died. And his wife was helping him write an autobiography, and then he died before. I think they published it though since then.
Yeah, there's a book about his life, and he was a heartthrob, right? I mean, everybody wanted.
He was.
People wanted to be him, or they wanted to marry him. One of the two.
Well, also, I think he had a hard time getting out of it because he looked so small. He was eventually 5'8". But I worked for Tiger Beat magazine. That's why I know these things.
Oh, wow, that's hilarious. That's
he and Sean Cassidy were like big time back then, probably.
Yeah, but he was so small. That's why he was playing like 13-year-olds when he was 17 or 18.
It's really hard on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
It's really hard on kids in show business. My friend Kristen Vigard that owns the gallery we're building the set at. She was the original Annie.
Really?
Before Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she grew up in show business. She did The Survivors with Robin Williams and Walter Matthau, and she was in the soaps. And, she speaks wonderfully of the industry, but at the same time, I see where the wear and tear is on these kids that grow up in that environment and are monetized.
Yeah. It's got to be hard. And I think there are some interviews with Jack Wild out there on the internet, and he talks about that. Basically, this is what he said. He said, on the set, when you're on the set and you're a kid, you're not a kid. You're treated just like an adult. So then if you spend a lot of time on the set, when you go back to be with the kids, you don't know how to be a kid anymore. And he said it's really hard, and that's what he started drinking. And I don't know whether he did the movie Melody first. Kamala says he did the movie Melody first. That was another great one. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's really good.
I don't think that was first because they were supposed to. Mark Lester was supposed to be with the girl involved. They were going to get married. I think that was after.
So now the next thing that I wanted to get to is the Bugaloos. I don't know if you know anything about the Bugaloos.
The Bugaloos.
You know the song,
flying high, flying low.
So again,
very good.
That was good.
Thank you.
You can sing it right along. The Bugaloos.
Yeah, I'm ready.
In the air and everywhere. There's Martha Ray. Martha Ray. She was fantastic. I never got into this show because it was a little weird the way they had wings. What is the thing about British people too? I always thought these were British shows because all the humans were British. Why? Anybody know?
I just love these guys. I wanted to be a beetle and I wanted to be a fairy, and it was like they came together.
They cast this show. They cast the band like they did the Monkees. They were supposed to be the American Monkees, essentially. The British Monkees. The British Monkees. And another Phil Collins reference. Phil Collins auditioned and didn't get cast. I know.
Well, he went on to Genesis. He went on to Genesis, which was pretty good in the puppetry and makeup department.
I don't think he failed his life mission at all.
And apparently, Elton John's manager also auditioned and didn't get into the Bugaloos either. But
it's a tough click, man.
It's a tough click, and you know what? It seems like people that were in these shows, they were in more than one show a lot of times. Like Billy Barty oftentimes played the whatever character, but they wouldn't.
Billy Barty, wow.
Yeah, Billy Barty played. I think he was in Puff and Stuff. He was in the Bugaloos. He's the bee in the Bugaloos. And, more stuff too.
when I find someone that's fun to work with, like Equal Means Equal and Ginny and Kamala and Natalie, or you, Joel, I want to work with them again and again and again. If it clicks, that is good. And if they can sell wings and an English accent, yes.
And you also don't want people complaining, going like, I don't want to wear these wings, or once they've worn the bee suit, you're like, okay, now wear this wacky suit. And I never thought about it, but Puff and Stuff, when I was a kid, I was so young when I never thought about the guy in there. Like there's a person in there. And now when I look at it, you see it a totally different way. Kind of like we were talking about Big Bird. Like you see that he's going, bah, bah, bah. And then the person who does the voice, I don't know how they sync the voice. Does the person, I'm going to have to ask Marty this, was the person off stage talking? Because it seems to go with the mouth, and it seems like it'd be harder to do later on.
That was, it's interesting you say that. I always, even as a kid, I didn't like the fact he wore little white boots. I thought they looked really disproportionate to the rest of him. And it made me think about the man inside of a costume wearing those.
Weren't those boots weird?
Very loved weird. Those boots. I thought they were so delicate and dainty. And
they were, yes.
And they were also like, I was picking up on physical humor without really noticing that I was picking up on physical humor. His hat was funny too. I mean,
they didn't even match. Outfit. Nothing matched.
I didn't know he had a hat. I thought he was a caterpillar.
Well, do that Big Bird impression again, Joel. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't really do it. But I thought I didn't know what he was either. I think every once in a while they would refer to him as a dragon, and I'd be like, it doesn't really look like a dragon to me.
No, he didn't.
And he also talked like he had a big mouth. He'd be like, I think this, Dave, wah, 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 wah.
Well, the guy who did
do
his
have
voice,
big
I think
mouths.
They do. But I think the guy who did Puff and Stuff's voice did several of the characters.
He did. That's a good point. I wonder what his name was.
It was like Weintraub or Lee.
Oh my goodness, Lenny Weinrib.
Hey, not bad for me.
Yeah, that was pretty good. The old brain cells are still firing. With the voice. Ben, for some reason, wants me to do a Big Bird impression with the voice. Not this time, Ben. Next time. I'll have to work on it, of course.
When you're alone, Ben, you can have him do that.
You can call me up. Okay, so it keeps going. Bugaloos. Anybody know what their next show was?
Pink Lady and Jeff.
Did you see that? I don't even understand that.
Pryor's Place. Wasn't it Pryor's Place?
No,
Bugaloos?
It goes on. You wouldn't even believe how many shows they had. They said, one time they said they had 5 shows running, and like on CBS, and they wanted them to do a 6th show, and they said, you know what? I don't think we can afford it.
Wow.
Like what? They're like losing money?
No, they were. That's why they had to
stop.
They had to stop Puff and Stuff because they didn't have the money for it.
Really?
Yeah. But Pink Lady and Jeff just had. Can I just tell you about it really quickly?
Tell
it's so weird. Because ask Marty about it.
Okay.
There was this Japanese. Okay, it was in 1980, which is getting pretty late, and there were only 5 episodes for a reason.
Yeah.
Somebody got the idea that they were going to get this Japanese singing duo named Pink Lady to have a show, but they brought them over. They got Sid and Marty to produce. Then they didn't tell them that the girls didn't speak English. They spoke no English. So then they got this comedian named Jeff Altman to be with them. And the poor women, I mean, they literally didn't speak any. They would make them memorize these scripts, which they couldn't say. And then they would sing a song. And at the end of every episode, they would end in a hot tub with Jeff. And the only reason it even lasts 5 episodes is Alice Cooper knew either Marty or Sid and came on as a favor.
Really? Alice Cooper. Alice
but
Cooper.
It is really worth just one of the most bizarre shows ever conceived. And Marty would tell you the same, I'm sure.
Elizabeth was so shocked that she fell right off. She fell right off the screen. So it's just you and me for now until she comes
it's a black hole. She went in that black hole.
She went in that black hole. I think she got sucked into that black hole.
It says her name right under it.
Matt Wright asks, when was Banana Splits? It's a good question. Sid and Marty Krofft designed the costumes for the Banana Splits.
When was that? I don't remember either.
That was before Puffin Stuff. So that's kind of how they got. That's how they kind of got in. I don't know when that was. I don't have a record of that. But
you may want to tell people about the McDonald's.
Oh yeah. So I want you to tell me about that. The McDonald's thing. If you
well, you may know.
1968 was the banana splits. 1968.
But so you know. The McDonald's characters. This is how I've heard it, but I think you know more because you talked to Marty. The McDonald's character, like what were the name? McBurglar and
Hamburglar.
Those were
Mayor McCheese.
Those were based on Marty Kroft's and Sid and Marty Kroft's puppets, and I guess the deal fell through or something, and McDonald's did it anyway. And then, as you said, they sued and they won. Yeah.
So there's a video about this that we can take a look at here.
Oh,
cool. I can't. I'm not playing the audio. Somebody made a cool video about it, but they basically, if you go to this person's channel. They tell you all about it. It's something called MASH.
They look you can see it.
Yeah, so what they're saying is they actually hired Sid and Marty Krofft to do these characters. And then suddenly they didn't have the job anymore. For some reason it fell through. And then they just went ahead and did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so they made these characters. And they're remarkably, the thing is, Mayor McCheese, I guess, is the most egregious copy because he basically looks just like Puffin Stuff, but he's a mayor, even has like the sash and everything, except his head is is a cheeseburger. So they basically then sued. They then sued McDonald's and they won. They got a settlement of like $1 million. Next show, Far Out Space Nuts. We could probably hit that. We are
running. How does Matt know all this?
Matt, we just like any of us do. Like Nogi asked, Dr. Shrinker. Yes, Dr. Shrinker was part of the Croft Super Show.
You've got some fans out here.
I know. So we better get to some more of these things because. I just wanted to say one thing. HR Puffin Stuff. HR Puffin Stuff. What you do when things get rough. HR Puffin Stuff. Can't get a little because you can't get enough. So that song. Paul Simon sued them and said that's feeling groovy.
Yeah. And did he win?
He did. And in fact, they credit him on the song now because it was so much based on feeling groovy at the same kind of time.
Very litigious show.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I wanted to get to something here that Matt mentioned, which is... I think Matt mentioned it. Yeah, Far Out Space Nuts. So this is Far Out Space Nuts. Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island starred in this. And it's these two guys that are like supposed to be launched into space. And the guy says breakfast. He's like loading breakfast, lunch. And when he says lunch, he accidentally presses launch. And
this was after Gilligan's Island?
This was after, it has to be, right?
I think so, because I think I did see this.
Yeah. And there's Bob Denver. And so they were like stuck. Then they get stuck out there, lost in space, and hilarity ensues, of course. And they meet this guy, which is Honk. And then there's a horse. Oh no, the horse is in the other one. There's a furry horse. So the weird thing that I don't understand that I want to ask Marty about is they had this show, and then they had this other show at the same exact time. Called Lost Saucer. Yes, after Gilligan's Island, not a prime booking for Mr. Denver. Then they had this one that was called Lost Saucer, which...
with Jim Nabors.
Jim Nabors and Ruth Buzzy.
They were just going through the 60s TV shows for cast.
I know. So, it's interesting because some of the people came out of these shows. That's Dorst, the... I don't know, it's some kind of like horse-like creature. And I think what's happening is this woman here was babysitting this other kid, and then somehow they got stuck in a saucer. They're out there. They got abducted by aliens, essentially. They were abducted by aliens. All right, so we lost Elizabeth Croydon. I do want to show you this. This is an actor who did this thing about Zach.
Hey there. How's it going? My name is Oscar.
This guy's
Just thought I'd drop in and say hey
a lot.
and share a little
Oscar
story,
Jordan.
play a little bit of guitar. When I was a little kid, I was really into Jack Wilde. Jack Wilde was my hero. I wanted to be Jack Wilde. Who is Jack Wilde? Jack Wilde played the Artful Dodger in Oliver. He also played Jimmy in H.R. Pufnstuf. Jimmy, I wanted to be Jimmy.
See?
I thought Jack Wilde was the coolest kid in the world, and I wanted to be him so badly. I used to mimic him, and he was just incredible to me. He could sing, he could dance, he had bangs, he had a British accent.
Bangs.
He had a magic flute. He lived on an island with all these really, really cool characters, and you know, he was like my world. I wanted to be him, and I think I wanted to become an actor because of him, and I became an actor. And he was the source of all that, you know, being a little kid and all. And I, you know, of course, I loved the show too, and I was addicted to H.R. Pufnstuf. Now, most people remember the introduction musical theme to H.R. Pufnstuf because it tells the story of how he came on the island and all that. But I've always been a big fan of the end theme of the TV show because it had this really cool late 60s bluesy gospel rock thing going on. Very, very Laura Nyro. If anybody knows who Laura Nyro is, you know what I'm talking about. And
This guy's a
she kind of combined all that. But anyway,
guitarist.
I think that TV end theme was influenced by her. I gotta say it probably was. But I've always loved that, and I've always wanted to play it. And I'm gonna play it for you right now. And I'll do it quickly because I know you have ADD, so I'll just get to it, right? You've got someone who loves you. You've got someone who cares. You've got someone to pick you up whenever you need repairs. You've got someone to take the time to listen to your prayers. I got, you got, everybody we got someone who cares by the name of H.R. Pufnstuf. Who's your friend when things get rough? H.R. Pufnstuf. Well, you can't do a little 'cause you can't do enough. See you next week. Keep those cards and letters coming.
Yeah, thank you, Oscar Gordon, for letting us play that.
I have to say, Kamala just blew my mind when she says Zoe Nicholson was Laura Nyro's girlfriend. That's
Zoe
amazing.
Nicholson is this fantastic women's rights activist, and she's just an amazing person. But there you go. I don't know. There's some trivia there for you. All right, so just one more. Well, we never talked about Pryor's Place.
Richard Pryor was in a...
Yeah, Richard Pryor's had a show that the Crofts put on. Yeah, Richard Pryor was in a kids show, and it's really quite good because what he does is he'll tell a story from it seems like from his personal life, and then they will have kids and they act it out, and he plays various characters, and all kinds of performers are on that show. I think
is that available on YouTube?
You can check it out on YouTube. There's a couple of episodes. I'll just, show you where to go here. Let's see.
God.
I know. I'll show you just
Richard Pryor with a kids show. That's like, ooh.
I know. So he did this great kids show. And, actually we were, at some point we might have his daughter on the show to talk about it. But all kinds of guest stars on the show.
I had no idea.
The guy, yeah. John Ritter was on it, Rip Taylor, Lily Tomlin, Robin Williams, Henry Winkler.
What year was this?
This was in, I can tell you, 1984.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? So these people were, the thing about the Crofts is it just goes on and on and on. Everybody can mention even, probably 5 more shows that were like involved in this kind of thing. So it's vast.
Okay, now when I see, okay.
These things come back, don't they?
Yeah.
They had puppets on the show as well, these little rats.
Jeez.
And,
did it last very long?
Most of their shows, it seemed like, don't last that long. Like they last like a year and then they last forever in people's memories, Look, written by Paul Mooney. Yeah, it's pretty rad. So anyway, so there's that.
Oh, he's looking good.
Yeah. So hopefully, at some point we'll get more information about that, or maybe from.
Oh yeah, it'd be interesting if Marty can tell you what he was like to work with and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He says he has a lot of stories about it. All right, so I think we're gonna have to end the show because there's just this too much in the Croft universe, and we're getting it's running late. And I lost Elizabeth. I was bringing her on during that song, but I just lost her again. I think she fell into a black hole. And
I hope it's as pretty as the background is.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? I think. Does anybody remember Inside Out? I had to watch that in school. I don't remember that. There's so much to explore in this world of ours, and lunch therapy is only so long. Lawrence says, good Peoria story always has interesting characters. All right, so we're going to move on to the dance break here. Oh.
Doesn't she look like a Marty Krofft, Sid and Marty Krofft?
She totally does. Oh, puff and stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. All right, let's move on. Here we go. Dance. All right, we're into the dance break here. I lost Jenny. Jenny's here. She's going to be in the dance break. But just wanted to end the show here. I couldn't get anywhere. We couldn't get anywhere near through all the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. But we're going to have actually Marty Krofft on Friday to give us the scoop. If anybody has any questions that they want me to ask Marty Krofft, please send me a message or post it in the show notes or wherever the heck you want to post it, and I will try and get that question in.
And tell us how old he is.
Tell us how old he is.
He's like 90?
I'll have to ask him.
He's born in 1937, I think.
So how old does that make him?
I do puppets, not math.
I was going to say, I'm not doing it. Maybe somebody in the chat room could tell us. I'm bringing Jenny on here because she's talking. So I lost Elizabeth. Great having her on the show. We'll bring her on again sometime, of course. Marty Krofft, Friday. It's a big score. Also, on Wednesday, we are going to explore the world of wolves and how they fit into our society. And we're bringing two people on here who are wolf experts. So I hope that you'll join me at noon on Wednesday for that. For now, we're going to have a dance break, and it is a cover of a Bugaloo song, believe it or not. So I wish Elizabeth was here because she's a huge fan of it. Here we go. There's Elizabeth's place up there. I gotta get on this one. Is it real? Do you finally feel inside the fire I've been trying to hide for so long? All right, everybody, have an amazing day. Lauren says have an amazing day. Tell me what he said about the nursing home. Oh yeah, I should have said that. This is great. So yeah, I was talking to Sid, and I said, he said, I'm in the nursing home. And I'm like, oh, you are? You're in a nursing home? Yeah, it's called CBS Radford. He's like over at CBS in his offices. He calls that the nursing home. He's a character. He's a character. I'm going to need some backup on Friday, I'll tell you.
This is Marty or Sid?
Marty. I always get the names mixed up. Yeah, this guy's never done drugs either. Yeah, this guy, yes. Larry Cox, he's got a channel on YouTube, and he's super cool. And why am I not dancing? It's a good question. I could do my I Got No Strings dance. Exactly.
Yeah, learn the words.
No, really. Got no strings. Larry Cox is super cool, I must say. I don't know what the Bugaloo dance is, but something like that.
Oh, put wings on yourself. I can't believe I'm dancing.
I know, it's fun. It's actually, everybody should dance at least once a day, right? Busting out the magic flute. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on this exploration of just a small piece of Sid and Marty Kroft's world. And thanks, Ginny, for being here. And we'll see you on Wednesday.